Welcome to the Juicy as Fuck Method. It is Kelly, and we are diving into the SIP system today. We are diving into the MIRAGE, the reality formation. What you see in your projection screen. And before we get started, I just want to open up with a prayer, open up with intentions for God to move through me, to move through our vessels, to clear out the distortion, to really release the fractures in the feminine field, and to open up our vessel, open up our ley line to liquid love, to life force, to more juice, to more you, to expand your capacity. That is always the intentions, to bring you into greater coherence, to bring you into greater harmony. And so it is. Allow this time to unravel you. Allow these words to rearrange the blueprint. The mask was this mold. The mask is what you learned to be, who you became, for safety, for acceptance, for performance, for belonging. And the mirage is the movie that it projects. It is the holographic world that your subconscious plays on repeat. The codes that have been installed in you, the holographic world is just mirroring that back to you. The world is you. You are the universe. You are what you see. The reality you walk inside isn't really real. It is a reflection of your subconscious beliefs. The mirage is the reality formation. It is where your pattern comes online prime fucking time, baby. It is your opportunity to see your patterns. That is the gift of the mirage. Because everything that came before this mirage, the ache, the clamp, the kink, the mask, it takes all of those things and it spins it into your field experience. What you can taste, what you can sense, what you can see, what you can connect with, what you live in. You see it in your money, you see it in your men, you see it in your mirrors, you see it from the muse inside of you. But the thing is your reality is not what's true. Your mirage is not what's true. It is what is familiar. It is what is expected based off of past circumstances. But where is the past? There's only here and now. And creation is in the present fucking moment. The mirage is the most dangerous part of the SIP system because it does not feel like a wound. It feels like reality. It feels real as hell. And that's why we stay there for decades, for years, for our entire life. But the ache is still underneath you. The ache of what you truly want will haunt you forever. It will not go away. It will not go away. It still pulses in your body. The kink still creates tension. The clamp fucking weighs down your body, and the mask still is performing. But the mirage feels weirdly logical. It feels reasonable. It feels adult-like. It feels responsible. It feels true. The mirage is what happens when your distortion becomes architecture within your psyche. It is when the nervous system has repeated survival strategies so many damn times that the field begins organizing your entire reality around it. Not metaphorically, energetically, relationally, perceptually. The woman is no longer thinking that she is performing a pattern. She sees it and she thinks, this is how life works. This is how reality responds to me. It is a self-perpetuating loop, and she defines herself off what she's seeing. It is the moment that this separation in reality between you and everything else fully crystallizes. And when separation occurs, there is division, there is fracture in your field, and it makes your psyche, it makes your subconscious feel as if you are lacking something. And that lack creates anxiety, it creates control, it creates manipulation. Because we're trying to control something outside of us. That is the danger of the mirage. The mirage is not simply just emotional, it is holographic. The field filters your reality through your distortions. It's like you have glasses on. So if you believe that life is difficult, if you believe that rest isn't for you, if you believe sexuality isn't for you, that belief is a lens that is filtered over your mind, and it blocks any opportunities from seeing anything else differently. And this is why two women can stand in the exact same room, do the exact same thing, and experience entirely different worlds. One isn't more skilled than the other. Their skill set is the same. But one woman feels that life is dangerous. She thinks that love must be earned, that she has to earn her position. She believes that people take from her, that men leave, that men betray, that power will isolate her, that desire will disappoint her, and that rest is unsafe. And so she wears these filters over her subconscious mind. And her reality projects those things back to her to validate what she believes at a fundamental fucking level. Another woman feels that life fucking works for her. Life responds to her. She's God's fucking girl. That love circulates. That there's ample amounts of fucking love. That support comes to her. It exists, that she is held, and that her desires create movement, create life. And that truth reorganizes her reality. It is the same world, but these women are operating on very different frequencies. They are operating from a different field calibration. They are calibrated completely differently, and so their realities are completely different. Because the mirage, your life is perceptual. It is your perception shown to you. The nervous system filters reality according to the identity it believes is necessary for your survival. The mirage isn't consciously creating bad experiences, but the woman is broadcasting this energetic instruction set that life must obey and organize around. And this is what we miss It's all within. The field is always teaching reality how to meet it. If her field says, I must carry everything, reality responds to that code. 10-4. Understood. You will be given everything to fucking carry. So you can be right about your limitations. If her field says, I am safest when I'm guarded, reality responds, understood. Your world will appear threatening. Just so you can stay guarded. Because the body doesn't care about your expansion. It doesn't care about you experiencing life on a deep level. It wants you safe. So if you believe that you have to be guarded to be safe, your life will always appear threatening. If you believe that love requires effort, it requires you to overgive, you will attract relationships that require your work to maintain. The field isn't moral. The field doesn't care about good and bad. It is just simply a mirror. It is coherent. It is neutral. It organizes around your identity. It organizes around your energetic signature. And this is why the mirage feels so damn convincing. Because the woman keeps receiving evidence for the very distortion she is transmitting. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. The psyche projects its expectations unconsciously. The field broadcasts that back to her. The reality mirrors. The nervous system interprets that mirror as proof, and the identity stabilizes even further. Do you see the loop? This is why it can be hard to leave, hard to even see when you're inside of the pattern. Because leaving the mirage doesn't just mean that you need to change behaviors. You hear coaches all the time that are just like, you need more discipline, you need to try harder. But it's like, if you could, you would, right? We all want to be our best selves. If you could, you would. But it's deeper than that. It is the nervous system. It requires tolerating a reality that feels unfamiliar to the nervous system. It's sitting in that unfamiliarity that creates danger. It is the abyss that creates danger, and that is the real edge. The real edge isn't about changing a thought. It's not about manifesting. It's not about saying affirmations. It is about allowing your body to stop organizing around survival identity. Because the body becomes addicted to familiar tension. It craves it. Women think they are addicted to suffering. But we're addicted to coherence. We're addicted to what is patterned. We're addicted to that relief. Even if it's painful. Even if it's painful coherence, that is what we are actually seeking. We're seeking what is stable in our system. The nervous system would rather live inside familiar disappointment than unfamiliar freedom. Because the known distortion feels safer than the unknown void beyond your identity. And this is why the mirage often gets real intense right before it collapses. Because the field begins panicking. Because what happens when you go beyond your identity, when you question the narrative of Maybe I don't have to hold everything. Maybe I can rest more. And you start to embrace that frequency. The old architecture loses energetic integrity. It's like a magnet, and it's losing its integrity. And so the old starts to crumble. The old architecture inside of you starts to crumble. And everything that was siphoning your energy from that frequency must rise to meet you, or it must fall away. And this becomes very destabilizing because a lot of loss can occur in this moment. And that is the edge. Because when you step into this, you start to see things from a whole nother perspective. Your perception changes. You see the overgiving. You see the subtle self-abandonment. You see the performance, the emotional labor, those invisible contracts, the karmic contracts, the guilt, the hidden resentment, the obligation, the constant management of everybody else's nervous system. And what happens is that's like in those lower frequencies, right? When you break away from those, you go through this phase of rage, of this disobedient disruptor, this anger, the frequency of anger, because you start to see reality for what it is. And there's been years and years and years of numbing. And so this clarity that comes to the surface, we often think like this is the arrival, this is the awakening. And that clarity can feel intoxicating because you can see the manipulation, you can see the patriarchy, you can see the conditioning, you can see the mother wound. But that clarity creates fire. The necessary fire, the sacred fucking fire within you to see the mirage clearly and to look within and to gain that frequency, that vibration, to shift everything immediately. Your field starts to broadcast, I will never let that shit happen again. And so reality continues to organize through opposition, and it can be very tough in this instance because you see the patriarchy, you see clearly, and so you believe once you see clearly that everything's going to be gravy. But for a while, that fire is still happening within separation. And so reality responds with like, I get it, understood. The code has been received. We've received your opposition. We've received your separation. And it then starts to bring you scenarios to test your defenses. And so we can become hyper aware. When you bring the unconscious to the conscious, sometimes I believe there's this period where it makes you self-conscious until you really integrate that at a deeper level. But this woman, she starts to scan constantly. She sees the tone, she sees energy, she sees intentions. She sees micro behavior, she sees potential violation. And we can call it discernment. And sometimes it is, and right now, I think that spirituality can convince you of light and love, and it can minimize discernment. And I don't want to, my intentions aren't to do that, because right now I believe women must see clearly. They must have a spine, and they must be able to discern very cleanly. But sometimes that separation and that division can be unresolved threat in your system, a wound. Your nervous system's still orienting around danger, but it's just more intelligent now. It's just this octave that you keep transcending. Anger feels powerful compared to when your mirage was, you were collapsing inside of your mirage. And it's important because it's a part of the journey to your sovereignty. But power, true, deep power and defense are not the same fucking frequency. Power is clean. Power is internal. Defense is charged. Charged power depends on external conditions. Clean power doesn't. Charged power will say, don't fucking cross me. Do not cross me. Clean power just says that doesn't enter my field. One braces. The other one chooses. And that is a massive distinction between the two. Anger convinces women that intensity equals sovereignty. But true sovereignty is relaxed. It's not weak, it's not passive, but it is relaxed. There is no energetic gripping. There is no proving. There is no scanning. There is no preparing for attack. There is just coherence. And coherence reorganizes reality far more efficiently than force ever fucking could. There's an even more subtle mirage. The mirage just constantly is responding to you as you move up the energetic frequencies, like pride. This one can trap a woman because now she's rebuilt herself. She's left anger some. And now she's moved into pride. Like she is the elevated one. She's evolved. She's integrated. She's awake. She's powerful. She's respected. And the field will give her that reflection. She'll get the validation. She'll get the recognition, the attention, the admiration. But then that identity subtly becomes dependent on that mirror. And this is where spirituality itself becomes performance. Because she's slightly curating herself energetically. The polished insight, the integrated lessons, the elevated version. But she avoids being seen unfinished. And so her system is low-key saying, maintain the identity. And that creates another loop. It is perform. Receive the reflection, stabilize the identity, and perform again. And the woman lives from the outside in, but she believes she is fully self-led. And this mirage masquerades as empowerment. But underneath it is this conditioned self-relationship. It is self-validation. It is this need for the external world to confirm who the fuck she is. Which means she is still organizing around reflection rather than being. And this is where the 3D trap can fully appear. This is where you can get stuck, because the mirage is identifying with the projection. And the woman mistakes that reflection for reality itself. She believes the external world is the source. But the external world is responding to her field organization, to her inner architecture. And this is why changing the physical world never works. Because 3D is downstream. The field comes first, the nervous system, the subconscious expectations, the energetic instruction set, the calibration of the identity that you are admitting, your emotional architecture. Then comes the projection. The mirage isn't some fake reality. You know, you hear 3D is fake. It is just filtered through your unconscious separation. And separation always requires and creates management and control. Controlling perception of other people, managing your safety, managing and controlling your identity, controlling relationships, managing outcomes, managing approval, managing emotions, managing power. The woman becomes tired as hell because she's trying to manually stabilize a reality. She's trying to do it with her force when she could be naturally reorganizing it through her inner architecture. And this is why the ultimate collapse of the mirage isn't some dramatic scene. It is quiet. When she just realizes, like, I don't want to hold all of this anymore. Not out of defeat, not because she's failed, but because she finally sees how much energy it takes to maintain separation. So she stops looking out. She stops referencing the mirror. She starts organizing around reaction. She calibrates her perception. She stops tracking herself constantly. There is this cease to secure her identity through other people's reactions, other people's perceptions, and through outcomes. And for the first fucking time, life begins moving through her instead of being managed by her. She allows it to move through her. She trusts her field. She trusts her subconscious expectations so much. And she knows when she sees something she doesn't like, she goes within and she cleans the code. That's what the holographic woman fucking does. She isn't perfect. She's not free from all of her patterns, but she does not mistake herself for the patterns. She understands something very profound. That the mirage, that life was never reality. It was her field generating around her unconscious survival programs that aren't even hers. They were installed within her. And when she sees that, shame can drop. Shame can drop. It is not you. It was a pattern that was installed within you. And once she does that, the field fucking changes. The mirage changes. The world that once felt absolute and final, it will start to dissolve because there's no energetic coherence left. You get different relationships. You get different reactions. You get different opportunities, different levels of support, different forms of intimacy, different timelines, different embodiment. And it's not because she tried to force or manipulate anything in the 3D. It's because she stopped broadcasting the old architecture, the old signal into reality. The 3D isn't the source, the field is. What are you admitting? What signal are you shooting? In the moment a woman truly understands that, not intellectually, not in her mind, but somatically, in her body, She stops forcing reality to try to change. And she becomes a woman that reality just can't fucking help but reorganize around.